Hello, this is Kevin, and in this session is the third piece of incomplete estimates. In the first session, we basically had where we could scan estimates for holes, how to use colors more efficiently, or things like that. We had a second video that went through and how to flag items so that way you could come back and review them. In this case, we're going to use old estimates to try to help validate new estimates. If I look at this estimate here that I've got open, one thing that I see that a lot of clients doing is they'll enter one lump sum and then enter in, electrical bids or HVAC bids or plumbing bids, whatever they may be. There's no problem with doing this, but one of the things that doesn't take much more time to do that can actually get you more benefit, especially when you start looking at comparing of estimates and things of that nature, is if we knew what the price per square foot on some of those were, so that way it makes it a little bit more in tangent when we start comparing estimates against each other. If I were to come over here, and let's say this building was 1,200 square foot, if I were to come in here and tell it 1,200, do I want to overwrite my amount here? I'm going to just say yes. It's going to keep the, it's going to make this a little bit different to start with. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 185 back in here. So by me entering 185, if I would have had my quantity in here to begin with, this is kind of nice because now I can actually tell that this is really square foot, and that's really $154 a square foot. So this can actually be kind of a, something that if I compare different estimates, maybe I can look for a window of, minimum, maximums, different things that might let me know if the job I'm currently bidding on is this within that window or not. So in this case, I'm going to go back and just change all these to my 1,200 square foot. Now, you cannot do this in yours necessarily because you wouldn't necessarily want to go back and change all your quantities. This is typically you'd want in there ahead of time. So when you enter your prices, it would back calculate the unit price. But since I've only got a few items here, I'm going to go ahead and just flat out do all mine. I'm also going to do the headings because there's going to be an advantage with that that's coming up shortly. So I'm going to go ahead and fill square footage down for all my units there. I'm going to go ahead and come down and fill all the quantities in. I'm going to go ahead and let it knock my amounts out for right now. And then I'm going to come back and put them back in. So this is really 92,000. This was really 125 in my case. So now that I've got an estimate here, and let's say this was the one I was currently working on, and I want to compare this with other estimates. Under reports is something called a comparison report. A comparison report will let you compare up to 10 estimates together. So in my case, I'm looking at this project right here is the one I'm currently working on. And maybe I've got other Aldis that I've actually estimated. So, I might pick those, or maybe I've got some other stores that I just want to check and see if, they're close. So you can do up to 10 estimates side by side. So in my case, I'm only going to get a pick, a handful here at the moment. The comparison report's very powerful because you could actually compare, how do the takeoff quantities vary? How do the labor hours vary and things of that nature? How's my labor unit prices vary and so forth? In my case, I'm going to try to simplify it a little bit. So my first transition to this, I'm just going to look at the price per square foot. Under sort, I'm also going to just say that I want the division heading. So that's one of the reasons why I went ahead and put the square footage on the headings. So I don't have to necessarily look at every single item. I just want to see it at a, very high level comparison at the moment. And I am going to say landscape and legal, just so that way when I start looking at a few more columns, I got a little bit more space. So let's see what that looks like. So if I say preview, and this is a store that I was just working on, I can see that this $76 per square foot was maybe a little bit higher than that particular store was, or maybe a little bit lower than that store was, or, quite a bit higher than, actually a little higher than some of the Dillon stores have been, or whatever the case is. So just a nice way that maybe I can go through and, well, wait a second, why is my estimate, higher than ones I've done in the past, or lower than ones I've done in the past? So maybe I could find an error before I actually give an estimate out to a client or a prospect and so forth. So very powerful to be able to actually look at that. Now, the other thing I might want to look at is I'm going to go back and actually change and tell it to show me the total dollars also. There's all my dollars per square foot for those 5 jobs. There's my actually dollars for each of the 5 jobs. So that way I could tell that, I'm about $92,000 on this job. This one was about 70. This one was 160. whatever the variations were. So that way I could look at the price per square foot and the amounts at the same time. Now, because of screen space and I want to keep everything together, I'm going to go ahead and just say I want to see the price per square foot, and I want to also be able to see the quantities and see how those job sizes varied or something. So preview. And looks like I've done a bust. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the price per square foot just to make it where I don't have to go to a bigger paper size or something. So then that way, in this case here, I've kind of got fictitious numbers that I put out there and so forth, but I could tell that, theoretically all those buildings were the same size. So if I did want to kind of see how job sizes vary, it's a nice way to be able to pull that up if you had, some different ones and so forth in yours. If I'm looking at multiple columns, if you notice right now, it's grouped all my square footage stuff together and all my total amounts together. You might group your columns by estimate. So in this case here, it would say there's the square footage and the job size for that one. There's the square footage and the job size for that one. So depending on how you want to look at it, just comes in real handy for going back and doing some comparisons. So there again, just another way to figure out if I've got incomplete estimates or inaccurate estimates, compare them against other jobs that I've got out there. Thank you for watching. And if you're looking for more information, make sure to come on over to our YouTube channel, subscribe to it. A lot of content being populated, as we're going through re-updating a lot of our content. And then also if you want some high-end podcasts and so forth on, different executive companies and construction background and so forth, make sure to come on over to the Buildcast and subscribe and check out what's going on that side. Thank you for your time.